you'll learn how to create a valid XHTML document for the WizardWorks website. This page on the WizardWorks website needs to be updated to meet XHTML standards. It has already been updated, so it is free of XML syntax errors, making it a well-formed document. Now you need to make it a valid document. A valid document is a well-formed document that also contains only those elements, attributes, and other features that have been defined for its XML vocabulary. For example, in an XHTML document, this code is considered well-formed because it follows XML syntax rules. However, it is not considered valid XHTML code because there is no main head element in XHTML. To specify the correct content and structure for a document, the developers of an XML-based language can create a collection of rules called the Document Type Definition, or DTD. To check an XML document for validity, an XML parser tests the content of the document against the rules in the DTD. If the document does not follow those rules, the parser rejects the document as not valid. XHTML 1.0 documents can use one of three DTDs: transitional, frameset, or strict. The transitional DTD supports many presentational features of HTML, which are elements designed to indicate how browsers should render page elements, and include deprecated elements and attributes, such as the font element. The frameset DTD is for documents containing frames. It also supports deprecated elements and attributes. The strict DTD does not allow presentational features, deprecated HTML elements and attributes, or frames. If you need to validate the HTML or XHTML code in an older website, use the transitional DTD. If you need to support older browsers in a framed website, use the frameset DTD. If you want to weed out deprecated features and do not need to support frames, use the strict DTD. No matter which DTD you use, a valid XHTML document must have an HTML, head, title, and body element. Some elements are allowed in one DTD, but not another. That means this code, which uses the deprecated font element to format text, is valid under the transitional and frameset DTDs, but not under the strict DTD. Besides prohibiting some elements, the strict DTD also requires a particular document structure. For example, you cannot nest a block-level element within an inline element. Body elements cannot contain the elements shown here, including IMG, though they can be nested in other elements within the body tag. That means this code is not allowed under the strict DTD because it places an inline image within a body element. However, this code does comply with the strict DTD if you place the inline image within a paragraph. The goal of this rule is to enforce the inline nature of the IMG element. Because the image is displayed inline within a block element such as a paragraph, it should not appear outside of that context. This version of the works.htm document is set to use the XHTML 1.0 strict DTD. You can test whether the document is valid under the strict DTD by submitting the document to the XML parser on the W3C website. On the Validate by File Upload tab of the W3C Markup Validation Service webpage, select the works.htm document, and then click the Check button to have the validator check the document. The validator reports 5 errors on the page. The first 2 involve presentational attributes that the strict DTD does not support. The first attribute, BG color, sets the background color of the web page. The second attribute, align, floats an inline image on the right or left page margin. You can fix both errors by deleting the attributes from the works.html document and then adding style rules to the www.css file, which is the style sheet for the WizardWorks website. First, add a style that sets the background color to white. This replaces the BG color attribute you deleted from the works.html document. Next, add the float property to this head img selector to float the image on the left margin, replacing the align left attribute used in the works.html document. Finally, add the float property to a new main img selector to float inline images on the right margin, replacing the align right attribute used in the works.html document. Resubmit the document to the validator, which now reports the number of errors has dropped to 3. One of the errors involves the target attribute, which XHTML strict does not support. You can remove this attribute from works.html, though it means that hypertext links cannot open new browser windows or tabs. When you refresh the document, the validator reports 2 remaining errors on the same line. XHTML strict does not support the color attribute or the font element. In the works.html document, you can replace the element and attribute with a span element and an inline style. Now the validator reports that the document passes validation under XHTML strict. You can note this achievement by copying the W3C validation notice from the W3C webpage and then pasting it at the bottom of the works.html document. When you save the page and open it in a browser, the validation icon appears in the lower right corner. Now you know how to validate a web page using the XHTML 1.0 strict DTD.